Welcome, everyone, to session number 6, Focusing Collective Efforts.
I'm Bill Eagle from North Central Educational Service District.
And I'm Don Williamson, the Continuous Improvement Partner for ESD 171.
And my name is Kathy Anderson. I'm your System Improvement Program Supervisor Lead and Liaison for ESD 171.
In order to focus on collective efforts, we advocate for an improvement approach that might look something like this. First, start with a deep investigation of your school's systems, looking to identify the potential root causes of your problems. Bring together the right teams to address specific problems and focus their collective efforts around a SMARTY goal. Involve those closest to the work in generating change ideas to address potential root causes of your problems. Engage in small-scale testing of change ideas in order to build evidence of impact. And finally, based on that evidence, choose to adopt, adapt, or abandon your change ideas and scale out those ideas that show promising evidence. A basic tenet of improvement science is that all systems are perfectly designed to get exactly the results they get. This means in order to improve, we must have a deep understanding of our systems. Bringing together the right team to gather data about your system is a great place to start. Work with this team to collect, sort, disaggregate data from a variety of sources, and use a protocol to carefully examine the data for both bright spots and areas of concern. Ask, what does this data tell us? As well as what does it not tell us about the system? Identify areas of celebration as well as areas of concern. Prioritize your database concerns, identifying 2 to 3 areas that will become major focuses for further work. As you dig into investigating your system, split up the work and gather as much information as you can, looking for variations in your data and get curious about the causes of the variation. Map out important processes that impact areas of concern. Interview those in your system closest to the work you're trying to improve to gain further insight into the issues, including students and families. Conduct a root cause analysis, such as the 5 whys, a fishbone diagram, or an interrelationship diagram to further narrow your priorities. So to learn more about root cause analysis methods, see our School Improvement News Analysis playlist clip number 4, or contact your local ESD. Finally, come together to consolidate your learning and look for areas where the team might focus collective efforts in addressing one of your potential root causes. Based on what you learned by looking at your data and problem investigations, you have hopefully identified a specific goal or priority concern and some potential root causes that are needed to be addressed. Crafting a solid goal statement is the first step in focusing your team's collective efforts.
Your collective efforts begins by collaboratively identifying a clear, specific, and measurable goal that will move your system forward. And improvement science, we begin with setting a goal or an aim that answers the question, what specifically are we trying to accomplish? A good goal statement can help narrow down potential changes that you might introduce, test, and refine in your system using short plan, do, study, act cycles. Goal statements should include these key features. We often see schools leave out baseline information when they set a goal to reach. It'll help you measure your impact if you know where you're starting. For more information on creating good SMARTY goals, check out our School Improvement News video clip number 1 from the playlist. There are some common pitfalls when writing goals that we want you to keep in mind. Don't try to solve world hunger or boil the ocean with your goals. Lofty goals are important, but to achieve them, we usually have to start with something more actionable. So scope your goals so you can take action with realistic next steps. Remember that short cycles of testing and refining change ideas can lead to important learning as you test, refine, and retest potential change ideas on the way to improvement. Goals must be specific enough to be clear to those working to achieve them. So clearly identifying key terms or ideas will help you out. Your goals should focus on measurable outcomes. So Be careful not to confuse goals with action steps.
In focusing your collective efforts, a driver diagram is a tool that can be very helpful. It helps by allowing your teams to visually identify important connections between what it is you're specifically trying to accomplish and change ideas that move you towards your goal. A driver diagram can help you identify influences on your goal for which you will want to develop change ideas to address. It can also represent a collective theory of improvement as it changes over time when your team learns together. The purpose of a driver diagram is to identify key leverage points to go after in moving toward your goal and decide on an appropriate change idea to address that key leverage point called the driver. When completed, a driver diagram expresses a theory of learning that can be tested and monitored for impact in your system. In this example, moving from left to right, the driver diagram tells us how to achieve the aim or goal statement. Moving from right to left, the driver diagram tells us why we are implementing a particular change idea. In this example, the theory of learning expressed by the driver diagram might go something like this. The how. If we want to reduce chronic absenteeism from 16% to 8% by June 2022, then we need to build parent awareness and engagement. We can impact parent awareness and engagement by implementing a family meeting protocol around student attendance. This slide illustrates how the work from a driver diagram might fit into the new NCESD School Improvement template. You will need to choose measures to determine the impact of the drivers you've identified in your diagram. Your goal statement could then lead to the activities or change ideas that you would list in this section of your improvement planning process. To learn more about driver diagrams and focusing collective efforts through improvement science, contact us or reach out to your regional ESD. Thank you.